It's 11 p.m., and you're deep inside a tutorial for something that has nothing to do with your job. Last month it was photography. Before that, coding. Before that, psychology, music theory, a language you may never use. You have 5 unfinished projects, a browser full of tabs from 5 different worlds, and one question that keeps circling back. Why can't I just pick one thing? This is educational content, not medical advice. Consider the peak of intellectual achievement. Researchers Robert and Michele Root-Bernstein analyzed 773 Nobel laureates from 1901 to 2008. They found these pioneers averaged more than 2 serious, publicly documented domains of expertise. In physics, the ratio of these multi-domain thinkers to narrow specialists was 2 to 1. In economics, it was 19 to 1. Laureate Herbert Simon famously treated his music and writing as core cognitive research, illustrating how a rich, diverse forest yields far more resilience than a highly vulnerable single crop field. Imagine a perfectly engineered field of wheat. It is incredibly efficient, but one single disease can wipe out the entire season. In 2010, researcher Erik Dane published a framework in the Academy of Management Review. He called the phenomenon cognitive entrenchment. When you focus on only one subject, your domain schemas become highly stable. Your mental map becomes fast and efficient, but it also becomes rigid, causing you to reject unfamiliar problems. Your mind becomes that vulnerable, single crop field, whereas maintaining multiple interests keeps your mental forest flexible, protecting you from the quiet danger of specialized stagnation. Picture a young athlete playing 3 different sports at age 12, looking scattered compared to peers who drill in just one. In 2022, researchers Arnie Gulick, Brooke McNamara, and David Hambrick analyzed 51 reports covering over 6,000 athletes, including 772 world-class performers. The elite performers specialized later, spent fewer childhood hours in their main sport, and initially progressed slower than national-class peers who dominated junior leagues before plateauing early. You are not late, you are sampling. While self-reports have recall, selection, and access limitations, this developmental pattern suggests that early variety builds a more durable foundation, proving that your winding path is often the signature of those playing the longest game. Imagine a specialized team stalled on a difficult design. They all share the same degree. They use the same rigid mental map. Then, one member connects the problem to biology, reshaping a high-speed train nose to mimic a kingfisher's beak. Psychologists call this far transfer, the deliberate movement of a principle across unrelated fields. But this only works if you develop genuine mastery. Shallow curiosity that finishes nothing yields no cargo. If you treat each serious completed interest as a visited country, your mind becomes a vast trade network where your diverse experiences act as merchant ships, carrying unexpected solutions across borders to solve the problems that leave narrow specialists completely blind. You know the feeling of starting over. The clumsy first weeks in an unfamiliar field always pass. But when technologies shift, a map built over 20 years can become wrong in 20 months. If your identity is planted in a single professional crop, change feels like a devastating crisis. Vocational researchers call this career adaptability, the resources required to manage occupational transitions. Your exposure outside a main domain prevents rigid assumptions. By repeatedly stepping into new arenas, your apparent restlessness acts as an adaptability workout. structuring a layered mental forest that absorbs sudden environmental shocks and separates productive beginner practice from the shallow distraction of starting projects you never intend to finish. Step onto a track where millions are already running. Many of those specialists started years before you. Competing on their terms is a losing battle. But look at what happens when you merge coding, photography, and psychology. The crowded market disappears. You form a category of one. Vocational researchers call this T-shaped capability, defined as deep expertise in one core area paired with a broad span of auxiliary skills. This exact mix of skills is uncommon. Yet this combination must solve an actual, real-world problem, because rarity alone does not guarantee success. By building these intellectual trade routes, you stop competing on endless, narrow depth and instead offer a rare intersection that almost nobody else in the world can replicate. You sit at a dinner table, someone asks what you do. You cannot answer with a single word, like accountant, designer, or lawyer. Your explanation takes 3 sentences, and you watch their interest fade. That is institutional friction. On specialist scoreboards, you always lose. The dedicated photographer shoots better. The pure coder ships faster. The lifelong musician performs more fluently. You measure yourself against each one separately, handing yourself a verdict of total mediocrity because you are grading your diverse forest by the rules of their single crop fields. Your curiosity does not need to be amputated. A cage is no place for a bird built to migrate. But breadth without practice is not an advantage. The real test is how you behave when novelty fades. You know the loop: buying the gear, starting the tutorials, and quitting when the hard work begins. This is consumption in a costume. Laureates succeeded because they left public evidence of finished work, whether exhibited, published, or built. You do not need absolute mastery, but you must stop the repeated pattern of abandoning projects at the exact moment the actual skill building begins. To transition from mere consumption to a healthy, integrated forest of skills, you must apply 3 distinct principles. First, finish things. Stay in a field long enough to create a real artifact outside your head, treating completed effort as success and asking yourself, what have I finished? Second, build bridges on purpose. Ask where an idea applies elsewhere to force separate contexts to communicate, using the trade route only to test if actual cargo is moving. Third, go deep in seasons. Do not starve 5 pursuits by spreading them across 1 week, but give one primary attention for months while the others rest, allowing for temporary deep investment without permanent narrowing. Which of these 3 advantages do you recognize most in your own experience? Tell us in the comments below, and consider sharing this with the one friend you know who is still constantly apologizing to the world for having too many interests. Subscribe for more. Your mind is not a chaotic mistake, but an ecosystem. Stop defending your forest to those who only farm single crops. Build the trade routes and ship the cargo.